The Vikings, often portrayed as ruthless raiders and warriors, have a much more nuanced and rich history than commonly depicted. From the late 8th to the early 11th century, they embarked on expeditions that went far beyond mere plundering. This article aims to uncover the hidden aspects of these Norse adventurers, exploring their culture, voyages, and the indelible mark they left on Europe. The Vikings, hailing from the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, encompassing modern-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, were a complex and multifaceted people. Far from being just the fearsome warriors of legend, they were deeply influenced by the harsh northern environment, which shaped their lifestyle, beliefs, and societal structure. In their homelands, Viking society was primarily agrarian, with the majority engaged in farming. This lifestyle, dictated by long, harsh winters and short summers, required resilience and resourcefulness. These environmental challenges not only honed their skills in navigation and shipbuilding, but also fostered a strong community ethos, essential for survival in the tough Scandinavian climate. The social structure of the Vikings was stratified yet dynamic. The Jarls, forming the wealthy and powerful nobility, were at the top, controlling land and trade. The Carls, free farmers and skilled craftsmen, formed the backbone of Viking society. At the bottom were the thralls, slaves who were either captured during raids or born into servitude. Interestingly, the Viking society allowed for upward mobility, especially through feats of bravery and battle or success in trade. Pagan beliefs dominated their religion, with a pantheon that included gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya. Their mythology, rich with tales of heroism and the eventual doom of the gods in Ragnarok, was not merely spiritual, but also a cultural framework that influenced their laws, social norms, and even their view of the afterlife. Artistically, the Vikings were known for their intricately decorated weapons, jewelry, and runestones, characterized by intricate knotwork and animal motifs. Their writing system, runes, was used for a variety of purposes, from mundane inscriptions to magical and religious practices. These runic inscriptions are crucial for understanding Viking culture, beliefs, and history. In Viking society, while men were often away raiding or trading, women managed the homesteads and played a significant role. Viking women had more rights compared to many contemporary societies, including the right to inherit property, divorce, and remarry. The concept of sköldmaidens, though debated among historians, reflects the complex view of gender roles in Viking society. The legacy of the Vikings is significant, leaving a lasting impact on the cultural and genetic landscape of Europe. Their sagas, a blend of history and mythology, continue to captivate, providing insights into their way of life. Known for their military prowess, the true depth of Viking culture lies in their capacity for exploration, artistry, and their intricate social and religious structures. The popular image of Vikings as ruthless raiders overshadows their significant role as traders and explorers, which had a profound impact on medieval. These versatile vessels, capable of navigating both open sea and shallow rivers, allowed Vikings to travel vast distances, from the coasts of North America to the rivers of Russia and the shores of the Mediterranean. Trade was a cornerstone of Viking life. They established extensive trade networks that connected the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic caliphates with the rest of Europe. Their trade goods were diverse, ranging from furs, walrus ivory, and slaves from the north to silver, spices, and silk from the east. Viking traders were known for their shrewdness and were instrumental in the circulation of goods and wealth across medieval Europe. Exploration was driven by various factors, including overpopulation and the consequent search for arable land. This quest led them to establish settlements in Iceland, Greenland, and briefly, in North America, centuries before Columbus. Their settlement in Newfoundland, known as Lanso Meadows, is the earliest known European settlement in the New World. In their eastern endeavors, Vikings, often called Varangians in Eastern Europe, traveled down Russian rivers like the Volga and the Dnieper, establishing trade routes and settlements. Their influence was so profound that they became part of the ruling elite in some Slavic and Byzantine territories, exemplified by the Varangian Guard, an elite unit of the Byzantine army. Their interactions were not always peaceful, they clashed with and influenced various cultures along their routes. However, these interactions often led to a fusion of cultures, visible in the art, language, and customs of the regions they touched. The Russes, a group of Scandinavian origin, gave their name to Russia and played a crucial role in the early history of Russia and Ukraine. In summary, the Vikings' role as traders and explorers was just as significant as their role as raiders. They were instrumental in shaping the economic, political, and cultural landscapes of medieval Europe. Their voyages of trade and exploration expanded the horizons of the known world and forged lasting connections between distant lands and cultures. The Viking Age, characterized by extensive exploration and settlement, led to significant cultural exchanges that shaped the regions they encountered. The Vikings, originally from Scandinavia, ventured far beyond their native lands, establishing settlements and interacting with various cultures, leaving an indelible mark on the history and heritage of these regions. Settlements in the British Isles and Ireland. The Vikings began raiding the British Isles in the late 8th century, but their role evolved from raiders to settlers. They established important trading centers and towns, notably in York, Jorvik, Dublin, and other coastal areas. These settlements became melting pots of Norse and local cultures, influencing language, customs, and even genetics. The Danelaw, a region in eastern England, saw a profound Norse influence on local governance and law. Greenland and North America. Eric the Red famously founded a settlement in Greenland, which persisted for several centuries. The Greenlandic settlements were a blend of Scandinavian and local Inuit practices. In North America, the Vikings briefly established a settlement at Lanceau Meadows in Newfoundland, marking the earliest known European presence in the Americas. While short-lived, this settlement is a testament to the far-reaching scope of Viking exploration. Influence in Russia and Eastern Europe. The Vikings, known as the Varangians in Eastern Europe, founded key trade routes along Russian rivers and played a significant role in the establishment of early Russian states. Cities like Novgorod and Kiev were significant centers of Viking activity. The Varangians integrated with Slavic populations, influencing local governance, trade, and military practices. Cultural exchange and integration. Viking settlements were not isolated enclaves, they actively engaged with local populations. This interaction led to a two-way exchange of cultural practices, technologies, and ideas. The Norse mythology and pantheon were influenced by Christian beliefs, and vice versa. Artistic styles merged, evident in jewelry, carvings, and architecture. Impact on languages. The Norse language deeply influenced the English language, contributing many words and even impacting grammar. Old Norse and Old English were similar, allowing for relatively easy integration and language exchange. This linguistic influence extended to the Scottish Isles, Ireland, and parts of Russia and Ukraine. Trade and economic impact. The Vikings established trade networks that connected disparate parts of the world. They traded goods like timber, furs, wool, and ivory, and introduced new trade goods and practices to the regions they settled in. Their trade networks also facilitated the spread of coinage and monetary economies in several regions. Legacy in law and governance. In places like Iceland and the British Isles, Viking laws and governance models were influential. The Althing in Iceland, one of the world's oldest parliamentary institutions, has roots in Viking governance practices. In conclusion, Viking settlements led to significant cultural exchanges that shaped the medieval world. These interactions were characterized by a blending of cultures seen in language, art, trade, and governance. The legacy of Viking settlements is a testament to their adaptability and the interconnectedness of the medieval world. The Vikings, known for their seafaring prowess and often feared as raiders, also played a pivotal role in shaping the political landscape of medieval Europe. Their influence extended far beyond mere conquest, affecting the politics, power dynamics, and even the formation of nations. Formation of kingdoms and states. In the British Isles, the presence of the Vikings was a significant catalyst in the formation of early kingdoms. Their invasions pressured local Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to consolidate for defense, ultimately leading to the formation of a more unified England under Alfred the Great and his successors. Similarly, in France, the Viking threat led to stronger centralized royal control as local lords sought protection. Establishment of the Norman dynasty. Perhaps the most lasting political impact was the establishment of the Norman dynasty. Vikings, given land in what became Normandy, assimilated with the local population. The descendants of these Norse settlers, the Normans, not only ruled Normandy but also conquered England in 1066 under William the Conqueror, reshaping the political landscape of England and, subsequently, Europe. Influence in Russia and the East. In Eastern Europe, Vikings, known as Varangians, played a crucial role in the development of early Russian states. They established trade routes and were involved in the foundation of cities like Kiev and Novgorod. According to some historical theories, they contributed to the establishment of the Rurik dynasty, the first ruling dynasty of Russia. Role in Ireland's political dynamics. In Ireland, Viking settlements and raids led to greater political complexity. Their presence accelerated the shift from small-scale tribal governance to larger territorial kingdoms. Viking-founded cities like Dublin became significant political entities and trade centers in Ireland. Iceland's Althing. Vikings established one of the world's oldest parliamentary institutions, the Althing, in Iceland. This early form of democratic governance was a significant development in political organization during a time when feudal monarchies were common in Europe. Impact on feudal system. The Viking Age influenced the feudal system in Europe. The need for protection against Viking raids contributed to the system's development, where land was granted in exchange for military service. This system became a cornerstone of medieval European society. Cultural and political assimilation. In many regions, Vikings eventually assimilated into the local culture, marrying into local nobility and adopting local customs and languages. This assimilation often led to a blending of Norse and indigenous political systems, creating unique governance structures. Legacy in warfare and diplomacy. Viking military tactics and their approach to warfare had a lasting impact on European martial practices. Furthermore, their ability to navigate complex political landscapes, forming alliances and leveraging their martial prowess for political gain, influenced the diplomatic strategies of the time. In summary, the Vikings had a profound impact on the political development of Europe during the Middle Ages. From the formation of kingdoms to the establishment of novel governance systems, their legacy is evident in the political tapestry of modern Europe. Their role as state builders and political influencers stands in contrast to the common perception of them merely as raiders and conquerors. The Viking expeditions were more than a series of raids, they were a complex interplay of exploration, trade, settlement, and cultural exchange. The Vikings left an indelible mark on European history, influencing it culturally, politically, and economically. Their legacy, far from being one-dimensional, is a tapestry of interaction and integration that shaped the medieval world and beyond.